Hi guys, in this video I will show you how to use a list from the C++ standard library. The list class implements the linked list abstract data type. If you're curious how the list works internally, you can check out my video on a linked list. I put a link in the description below. In order for you to use a list in your program, you have to add an include directive to include list. List is part of the standard namespace, so in order to create a new list object, I use standard : list, and then the generic argument that I'll be using is int, because I want to store integers in that list, and I name this list my list. This can be any identifier that you want. It could be persons, values, whatever the list will be storing. Now, in order to add a new value into the list, I call the pushback function, and here I add 23, my list pushback 41, and I add one more, pushback 57. Now I have 3 integers in the list. Next, I want to show you how to get the first value from the list. So here I do int first equals mylist.front. This will give me the front of the list, which would be 23. So I can output this, and when I run this, this will output 23 to the console. Next, I want to show you how you can remove the first or last value very easily. You can always call mylist.popFront, which removes the very first value from the front of the list, or mylist.popBack, which removes the value from the back of the list. Now, if I call first mylist.front again, what will this output? Now I had 23, 41, 57. I removed the front in this line, which is 23. Then I removed 57 from this line. And so the only value left in the list should be 41. So if I run this, you can see there's only 41 left. That's the first value, but I know there are no further values. Next, I want to show you how we can iterate over a list. In order to do this, I first push a few more values into the list, 91 and one more, 56. So now in order to iterate over a list, I will use a for loop, and in the initialization part, I will declare a new iterator. So I'll use standard : list, that's a list of integers, then colon again, and then iterator, and then the identifier, which is iter, and I initialize it to mylist.begin. So now I have an iterator that points to the beginning of the list. And the condition here is I want to repeat as long as the iterator doesn't point to the end of the list. And in each iteration, I use the prefix increment operator, and I increment the iterator by 1. Now inside the loop, I will output the value that the iterator is pointing to, followed by a space. And at the end, I output a line break. So running this should now output 42, 91, and 56. And this is how you use an iterator to iterate over the list. Next, I want to show you how you can use an iterator to insert a value into a list. So first I declare an iterator again, call this iter, that points to the beginning of the list. And here what I want to do is, this is the list I have. I want to insert a value where 91 is. So basically between 41 and 91. And I will insert the value 12. I increment iter, because initially iter points to 41. By incrementing it, it points to the position of 91. And now I call mylist.insert. I pass an iter and then the value 12. I will copy and paste the loop that outputs the list. And when I run this, you can now see this was before, and now using an iterator, incrementing it by 1, and then calling the insert function on the mylist object and passing in the iterator that points to the position of 91 and 12. It will now place 12 where 91 was and push 91 and 56 over to the right. So now I inserted 12 effectively. Next, I want to show you how you can use the iterator to remove values from the list. So I use iter, I initialize it again to mylist.begin, and in this time I increment it 2 times. So now it should point to 91. When I call begin, it points to 41. Then I do plus plus iter, it points to 12, plus plus iter, it points to 91. And now I call mylist.erase and pass in the iterator. Then I copy the loop again, and when I run this, you can see now that I effectively deleted 91 from that list. This gives you some idea of how you can use a list in your programs. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.